Hello, my love, and welcome to a Tips on Storytelling video. If you think you recognize this family, yes, you do. This is the O'Learys. This is my legacy family. This is the family I have been playing for probably close to 2 years now, and I love them. I love them very much. Now, I've been playing the O'Learys for 2 years, and I am just now transitioning into my story for Generation 3. So I have taken things really slow. I've taken breaks from playing them to kind of give myself some time to really figure out where I want to take their story and all of that. And so I decided I was going to share some of my favorite storytelling tips with you all. So I've done videos like this before, so I'm going to start with the tip that I think is one of the most important and one that I think I've mentioned in another storytelling video, but it's to let your game surprise you. Your game will come up with all kinds of strange pop-ups. You will have your Sims deciding what they like and what they don't like. I typically, unless it is something that is going to be integral to my story, I will not set likes and dislikes in Create a Sim. I will play the game and allow my Sim to tell me what they like and dislike, because it makes my Sims feel so much more organic that way, and it makes me feel like they are making their own decision about what they like and dislike and the things that they enjoy doing in their lives. In addition to that, you always have your career pop-ups, things like that. I always kind of leave those to chance. The only things I always turn down are the ones that give me extra money. That is a personal preference. I love the struggle. So I love when my Sims don't have enough money to pay their bills, and it makes me have to be a little bit more resourceful with how I'm going to make money with my Sims. So that being said, let's move on to my next tip. My next tip is to zoom in on those really small emotional moments. If you're only talking about big things like births and deaths, those things are important, but when you really focus on the everyday life of your Sim and these little everyday moments, like Ivan out here working on grading some homework for his class, and then he's going to go in and work on his research and debate skill because he's trying to get a promotion. When we talk about little things like this, when we show weird, awkward first dates, or the first time that Nani tried to bake a wedding cake and burned it, or things like that, those kinds of things really bring more depth to your gameplay, and they make me feel more attached to my Sims. Maybe you already do this, maybe you don't do this. If you don't, give it a try, see how it makes you feel, see if you can get a little bit more in touch with your Sims and who they really are by just kind of really taking the time to slow down and enjoy these little everyday moments. My next tip is to use character arcs, not just events in your storyline. So maybe you start with a Sim that was a really rebellious teenager, and maybe she gets pregnant and becomes a really responsible mom, but in the process loses her connection to all of her childhood friends and is forced to learn how to make new ones. I kind of did this with Silas in the beginning of the O'Leary series. Silas was a beach bum. He lived all by himself in this little home in Sulani, and he was a digital and physical artist, and he was just kind of enjoying the bachelor lifestyle. He had a girlfriend, but he ended up getting a woman pregnant, and he did not want to be a dad. He really was not looking forward to being a father. He wanted her to get rid of the baby. He was just not about any of that. And eventually he kind of came to terms with the idea of being a father, and he ended up being a really fantastic dad, and he set the groundwork for what has become 3 full generations of O'Leary children. Now, while we're talking about setting the groundwork for many generations to come, my next tip is to start with a character, not necessarily a plot. Having a loose plot line is helpful, but you really want to focus on building Sims with really strong personalities, flaws, motives. The drama will write itself as you kind of do this, but really figuring out who you want your Sim to be, what kind of things will they enjoy, what kind of things will they not enjoy, what things are going to be important to them in life. Is it important to them to have children and start a family? Or is it more important to them to enjoy their young life while they're still young and go out and party and make friends and do all kinds of crazy things, go rock climbing, go snowboarding, do all those things before they settle down and start a family? If you have an idea of who your Sim is as a person, it will really aid you in helping making decisions for your Sims as they live their life. It will give you more insight into what decision would they make versus what decision would you normally make as the player. My last tip for today is don't be afraid to end an era. So let your Sims leave, let them die, let them walk away. When you feel like their story is complete, let them go. I know it's really hard. It was heartbreaking for me when Silas died, losing Cade. Those experiences were so integral in what happened next as far as my storytelling. When Silas died, it kicked off a whole different set of storylines. Skyla had to deal with the death of her father, and Cade also was dealing with that trauma, in addition to then very shortly after losing his mother, which spiraled him into his addiction that eventually took his life. Now, after losing Cade, his daughter, Elowen, is now dealing with her own struggles with her grief. And we haven't really talked about this yet in the O'Leary series, but it is something that's coming. I really wanted to just take some time off camera to really develop Elowen and kind of what she was, who she was as a person, and try to figure out how, she was going to deal with all of this. It has kind of set the stage for the next generation of storytelling. And that's something I'm really excited about, and it's something I'm really passionate about. As much as it hurts to walk away from a Sim and to see a Sim go, sometimes the only way to move on in the story is to allow them to move and to go somewhere else and do something else. Or maybe it's just the end of their life. Maybe it's just time to let them move on into the great Sim beyond and move on to the next level of storytelling. So I hope these tips and tricks were helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and do that. You can also click the link down in the description to become a member of the channel for only 99 cents, and that will give you access to all of our exclusive members only videos, including our members only series, Finding Amaris, which was a life and death spinoff, and it has been so fun. It is the most in-depth storytelling and pre-planning I think I've ever done. Tons of machinimas coming for that one. It's super fun. So if you guys are interested, please click the link down in the description. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much to my top level members, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys.